All right, here's one of my favorite websites that I've done for specifically my web development class. Actually, potentially my favorite. I think it wins out against the final. It's like I just basically do whatever. Uh, I think from what I remember anyway, the requirements were to have like a drop-down menu, which I'll show in a second, and then also to have it be responsive as well. I can't remember if the grid of images was a requirement, but that's something I did just to heavily show that I made it responsive. But I'll get into it. I made it on visual novels, something I'm just really into, especially at the time. Still am, just not as much, still humongous fan. Also, I guess something you should note, since I've last worked on it, I have made some changes. Copyright, uh, this wasn't indented. I just wanted to fix that as well. But I haven't made any actual, other than the copyright, I haven't made any changes visually. Everything is still the same as it originally was. And then also I fixed some spelling mistakes as well. But yeah, it's kind of always a bit boring to just go through the HTML code or Markdown or, you know, hypertext markup language. But I can just combing through it quickly. I find the CSS to be more interesting to go through, and then that's still not too interesting. The JavaScript is where it gets interesting, but this website doesn't have JavaScript. I'm just going through, just, you know, kind of basic styles. It's a bit, gets a little bit advanced for the menus, but not too much. Just going through, and then here's the responsiveness media query stuff. So I'll show it now, which is the interesting part. And I've actually taken some design cues for future websites from this. I have another website that I've been working on. Uh, Long story short, I took a small part of it and made it its own website just because it was getting like on too big of a scale. And just one thing that I had on it was this character Nagisa from Clan Ad, if that means anything to you watching at home, as just kind of a little decoration for the footer. Just, just something a little visually interesting. And then I guess another thing I should mention, these are, you can tell by the mouse moving over it, these are very clearly links. So, back to top, other stuff. And one thing that I've kind of changed, I've always found the basic links to look ugly. And if you don't know, it's typically that they're blue with an underline, and then once you click through them, they're purple with an underline. And I found that just not visually appealing. So here, there's other than the mouse over, there's no indication, which that's because for a little bit I kind of struggled with how to make links look good while also being clearly links. And what I've done in later websites, this is more of a recent development because it's not a huge deal. You still have that mouse cursor hovering over, which is kind of like the main indicator. But what I've done is basically it looks nice, just like this. But then when you hover over it, it has that underline and then also a different color as well to kind of indicate that it is a link. And I just thought that's kind of worth mentioning. There's a basically style versus functionality there. And I just ignore the it already has been clicked through thing because I don't really think that's important. So yeah, this is the main page, just a block of text, not too interesting, but it's the main page, just information. Now I try to avoid the big blocks of text, but depending on what you're doing, it is kind of hard. And then I'll just go to the top. So, like I mentioned, this is a visual novel, so I have a top 5 list here. So I guess I'll just quickly also come through, and I'll talk some more about my favorite design tropes to use. So spin, that's just really fun one to do. On this scale or on this size of image, maybe not the best because you can kind of get it stuck, so to speak. But For smaller things that aren't in the middle of the page, uh, really good. Just kind of wanted to show it off on this one. And also, this goes to the all of them do, so I won't show for every single one. But all of them kind of you can click and go to that page. And then also another design trope is just the rounded corners, which makes images more visually appealing. You don't want it all the time, but I often feel like you want it more times than you don't. Another thing here, this is another way that I've done a link to make it more clear since it's in a wall of text. I just made it a different color and I made it that purple. But, uh, actually, no, I think maybe if I have a link in text, I would make it a different color just to make it clear that there's something special about it, even if you don't know it's a link right away. Then you do that, and here it's the mouse over, but it would change color and underline the way I do things now. But yeah, in a block of text like this, you probably do want to have it as a different color. And like here, see what I mean on the image, like these sides, it gets stuck because your mouse has to be hovering over it to spin and completely off of it to unspin. To hear more what I was talking about. Uh, yeah. Uh, Another thing, I guess, maybe I wouldn't have the images so big. Like, see how here you can't view it completely. Uh, no, it takes up more screen space than you likely have. So that's another thing. But here I'm kind of like nitpicking myself basically, which is good. A lot of these things aren't stuff that I would do differently. These are things that I have done differently. So that's just kind of, seeing how I've improved. And I don't think there's too much else to talk about on here. I guess a slight mention is that this changes. So here, since it's not on the main page, this one takes you back to the front page. And that's really just a personal decision. Yeah, since I have the back to top, to me, it didn't make sense to have the page you're currently on be like a named link, but that might be something you want to do, and you could, a user would probably be able to understand that, I'm on the best VNs page, so if I clicked the best VNs page while I'm already on it, it'll take me to the top. But not everybody's that kind of technologically inclined, so maybe not. Like I said, it's really up to whoever is making the website. I'm just going back up here. Then resources, this is a pretty simple page. Um, Great resources. More spin stuff, these are kind of make more sense. They're bigger images, yes, but they are square, so I feel like it's less likely that it will get stuck. You kind of have to try for it to get stuck. And then these take you to the websites. Here, got some clearly vector images for some crustier images for others. Those are just the images that I found. This one especially looks good. This one especially looks bad. That's just where I was able to source my images from. That's just a personal thing. If it was, a big name website, obviously I wouldn't have images of this low quality. But since I was just for an assignment, just for fun, and it didn't really matter too much. Then important people, and I definitely do have some stuff to talk about here. So embedding of YouTube videos, this is always a great thing to have, not just YouTube videos, but embedding posts or whatever from external websites is always just to me it's really cool. And uh, you can't do everything. This is a website about other things, so obviously there's information about these other things that I want to show that maybe I can't in a website. So linking external videos is really good. But also, I guess three things when it comes to that. First off, it is just a small note is that the shareable links you get from YouTube are embedded links. YouTube has special embedded links, which if you get a shareable link, it'll be like www, blah blah blah, u2.be, so like YouTube, but with a dot in the middle, slash the numbers for the link. But the embedded links are blah 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 youtube.com slash embed slash the video number code. And so that's just a I think you can get the embedded links while you're watching a video, but if you just, if you're on your YouTube channel page, you can't do that. So that's just something to keep in mind. Another thing to keep in mind is that these videos might not be up forever. Uh, the biggest thing that I changed about this website after I done it is I actually changed this video because it didn't go down, but in between the time I made this website and the time that I went back to it just to fix it up a little bit, uh, the video was still up, but it didn't allow you to embed it. So I think it's very rare. Other than this, I've never really encountered that, but I guess some videos don't allow you to embed them. Just keep that in mind. And I kind of forgot what the third thing was going to be, but just a new third thing that I thought of is if you have a lot of videos on your page, which it probably takes quite a few, but it can slow it down. Just to keep that in mind as well. And then here we have kind of like the same format, just with two other people and two other videos each. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this website. I kind of feel like I talked about it for a while, or at the very least, I had more interesting things to say about it than other things I've talked about on this channel. But uh, yeah, I'm probably going to end it there and see you next time.